After Xerxes had crossed the what Herodotus called the Hellespont, which I think, or I have come to understand to be the body of water that divides Europe from Asia. He crosses with his huge army and is on the other side. He travels for a few days. It seems when you read the book, it seems they travel for a few days, and then they reach this place where they are still near the body, the Hellespont, whatever, the body of water. But there is a hill next to it, and Xerxes is his camp is set above the hill or on the hill, and then just below it and next to the water, the army settles there, and then of course on the water the fleet is there. Now Xerxes is sitting there and watching the army, looking, and the army they organize some games just to entertain him, of course, and the other generals and maybe everybody else who was there. And one of those was ship racing in the water. And Xerxes is very happy and is very proud looking at this huge army that he's commanding. And he looks at it and is happy for one moment, and then he starts to cry. He's crying, and everybody around him is confused. Why is he crying? They don't know how to talk to him about it. And they reach out to Artabanus, who was his uncle, a brother to his father. Artabanus was like the one person who could talk whichever way to the king. Like there was that freedom for him to say anything to Xerxes. So the people around him go and look for Artabanus. Artabanus comes and he looks at Xerxes and he asks him, what's wrong? A moment ago you were very happy, jovial, and you seemed very proud. What made you all of a sudden start crying? And this is what Xerxes tells Artabanus. He tells him, I found this conversation very thought-provoking or kind of philosophical in a way. He tells him, there came upon me a sudden pity when I thought of the shortness of man's life and consider that all these hosts, so numerous as it is, no one will be alive when 100 years are gone by. Like, he just looked at all the hundreds of thousands of people around, and he realized, or it hit him, that no one among all these people will be alive in 100 years. And this is something that it's a thought that has crossed my mind a few times. Like when I see a lot of people, sometimes it hits me like in 100 or 120 or 130 years from today, no one among all these people, all young and whatever, will be alive. For that kind of like it's you feel something about that, about life, like it gives you this other perspective to life. But the answer that Artabanus gives me is also very interesting, very philosophical. He tells him, and yet there are sadder things in life than that. Than you thinking that in 100 years, none among these people will be alive, or life is so short. There are sadder things than that. And he tells him, short as our time is, there is no man, whether it be here among this multitude or elsewhere, who is so happy as not to have felt the wish, I'll not say once, but a full many times, that you were dead rather than you were dead rather than alive. Like among all these people you are seeing, each one of them will tell you that at one time or another, they've had this feeling of they would rather be dead than alive. And that's because of the things that go with life, that life is not happy. Sometimes things go very bad for us as individuals, and sometimes life is so difficult that we wish that we would rather be dead than alive. And it goes on to say, calamities fall upon us, sicknesses vex and harass us, and make life short though it be to appear long. Like when we have calamities befall us, like sickness, life might seem to be like it's too long, like it's going on far too long. Of course, in fact, if you think about it, death is, as he calls it, a refuge. If you think about it, like death comes when there is too much pain. Um, that's how it seems to me, and that's what he's basically saying. Um, so death, through the wretchedness of our life, is a most sweet refuge to our race. And God, who gives us the test that we enjoy pleasant times, is seen in his very gift to be obvious. Like the God or gods or God created death as a gift, it's a refuge. Sometimes when things are really, really difficult, it's like where we can easily go into. That's not a good, it might seem like not good thoughts to have, but is the reality of life. When we are very sick, we die because we are paining, and death comes as to remove that pain. Or when we are injured, we die because death comes as a way to remove us from that pain. Yeah, so it's basically, Artabanus is basically telling Xerxes that you are sad because life is short, or basically you are sad because there is death coming to us all. But think about the other way around, that without death, maybe there will be a lot of suffering, more than what we go through, because then there will not be an exit or a refuge from suffering and pain.